should know who I am by now. I walk, the record stands somehow, thinking of winter. Your name is the splinter inside me.
Hello everyone, this is Misha Houston and I'm here to do my analysis of Elaine 1, a release sample chapter from the upcoming book written by George R. Martin entitled The Winds of Winter. Today I'm going to be continuing my Sansa and the Safety of Wind series. This is safety number 2. This is the second person that I believe that she will be safe with when The Winds of Winter comes out. Safety number 2 is Brynden the Blackfish Tully. Now, one of the people that I feel she will be safe with is her great uncle, Brynden the Blackfish Tully. For obvious reasons, she will be fine. But as obvious as they are, I'm still going to point them out anyway. A little side note before I get started. I have included a good part of the siege at River Run and all the way up to when Jaime arrives at River Run and up to the Blackfish's escape. It's long, but I think it's worth it. Now, the chapters I'm going to be reading from is Catelyn VII, A Game of Thrones, Sansa 6, A Storm of Swords, Jaime 5, A Feast for Crows, and Jaime 6, A Feast for Crows. Here we go, and I really hope that you enjoy my series. Thank you. Now, as I said before, I feel that Sansa will be safe with her great uncle, Brynden the Blackfish Tully. Now, in case you didn't know, the Blackfish wanted to join Robb Stark in the War of the Five Kings and happily resigned his position as the Knight of the Bloody Gate in the Vale to do so, even if it was to the detriment of the Vale. Catelyn VII, A Game of Thrones. I know, child. The Blackfish fastened his cloak was Brynden's only concession to ornament. I had to hear it from Maester Coleman. I asked your sister for leave to take 1,000 seasoned men and ride for River Run with all haste. Do you know what she told me? The Vale cannot spare 1,000 swords, nor even one. Sansa 6, A Storm of Swords. She made off with our uncle, too. That was wrong of her. The Blackfish was my knight of the gate. And since he left us, the mountain clans are growing very bold. Now, Brynden was not present at the Red Wedding, luckily avoiding the heinous betrayal that occurred there. He is now engaged in a siege at River Run with the Freys and the Lannisters. Jaime arrives outside of River Run with his cousin and warden of the West, Lord Davin Lannister, to get the scoop on River Run. I need to know what I can expect to find at River Run. His cousin shrugged. The siege drags on. The Blackfish sits outside the castle. We sit outside in our camps. Bloody boring if you want to know the truth. Sir Davin seated himself upon a camp stool. Tully ought to make a sortie to remind us all that we're still at war. Jaime 5, A Feast for Crows. Our friends afraid would not have dared to vex Sir Kevin the way they have been vexing me. Tell me, said Jaime. I would, but where to begin? Whilst I've been building rams and siege towers, Raymond Frey has raised the gibbet. Every day at dawn, he brings forth Edmure Tully, drapes a noose around his neck, and threatens to hang him unless the castle yields. The Blackfish pays his mummer show no mind. So come evenfall, Lord Edmure has taken down again. Jamie 5, A Feast for Crows. It is a pitiful sight at the River Run siege, but Brynden remains defiant in the face of the Freys and Lannisters. He has no fear, nor feels intimidated by the Freys, and the threats they level against Brynden and Edmure don't sway him to retreat. Jamie 5, A Feast for Crows. Have you tried to treat with him? Sir Ryman did. Rode up to the castle gates half drunk and blustering, making threats. The Blackfish appeared on the ramparts long enough to say that he would not waste fair words on foul men. Then he put an arrow in the rump of Raymond's palfrey. The horse reared. Frey fell into the mud, and I laughed so hard I almost pissed myself. If it had been me inside the castle, I would have put the arrow through Ryman's lying throat. Now, the Blackfish and the Frey Lannister provision status goes as follows. Jamie 5, A Feast for Crows. Can we starve the castle out? Sir Davin shook his head. The Blackfish expelled all of the useless mouths from River Run and picked this country clean. He has enough stores to keep man and horse alive for 2 full years. Yeah, and how well are we provisioned? So long as there is fish in the rivers, we won't starve, though I don't know how we're going to feed the horses. The Freys are hauling food and fodder down from the twins, but Sir Ryman claims that he does not have enough to share, so we must forage for ourselves. Also, the conditions outside the River Run siege camp are bad, if not worse. Jamie 5, A Feast for Crows. Half the men I send off to look for food do not return. Some are deserting. Others we find ripening under trees with ropes about their necks. Sir Davin put his wine cup down. My scouts report fires in the high places at night. Signal fires, they think, as if there were a ring of watchers all around us. The next sentence speaks for itself. Jamie 5, A Feast for Crows. He knew he could not sit here for 2 years to starve the Blackfish out. Now, with food, time, safety, and patience running out, Jamie decides to meet the Blackfish in person to see if he can get him to leave the castle willingly. Jamie 5, A Feast for Crows. I'll wear a gorget when I treat with him, said Jamie with a half smile. I mean to offer him generous terms. If he could end this siege without bloodshed, then it could not be said that he'd taken up arms against House Tully. Shake out the peace banner and bear a message to the castle. Inform Sir Brynden Tully that I will have words with him at first light on the morrow. I will come to the edge of the moat and meet him on the drawbridge. Another reason why I feel that Sansa will be safe with the Blackfish is because he has not forgotten the Starks. He proudly displays the Stark banner in a high place of honor on the castle. The North remembers, and apparently the Blackfish does too. Jamie 5, A Feast for Crows. Jamie could see archers moving behind the merlons on the castle ramparts. Above them streamed the banners of House Tully, the silver trout defiantly on its striped field of red and blue. But the highest tower flew a different flag, a long white standard emblazoned with the direwolf of Stark. Jamie 6, A Feast for Crows. You must be blind as well as maimed, sir. Lift up your eyes, and you'll see that the direwolf still flies above our walls. Not only that, The first thing the Blackfish inquires about during the parley between himself and Jaime Lannister is Catelyn's daughters, Sansa and Arya. Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. I assume you have returned to fulfill the oaths you swore my niece, Sir Brynden said. As I recall, you promised Catelyn her daughters in return for her freedom. His mouth tightened. Yet I do not see the girls. Where are they? Must he make me say it? I do not have them. While at the parley, Jaime is trying to convince Brynden to surrender the castle. Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. Strike your banners and open your gates, and I'll grant your men their lives. Those who wish to remain at River Run in service to Lord Aemon may do so. The rest shall be free to go where they will, though I will require them to surrender their arms and armor. Sir Brynden is neither threatened by or intimidated by Jaime Lannister. The Blackfish defiantly answers Jaime's threats with insults and suspicions. Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. Sir Brynden smiled a hard smile. You do not lack for gall, Kingslayer. Bargaining with oath breakers is like building on quicksand, though. Cat should have known better than to trust the likes of you. Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. Your word of honor, Sir Brynden raised an eyebrow. Do you even know what honor is? Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. If you say so, far be it from me to question the word of such an honorable knight. And in the end, this is his answer. Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. And are there any terms you will accept? He demanded of the Blackfish. From you, Sir Brynden shrugged. No. Why did you even come to treat with me? A siege is deadly dull. I wanted to see that stump of yours and hear whatever excuses you care to offer up for your latest enormities. They were feebler than I'd hoped. You always disappoint, Kingslayer. I find it wonderfully refreshing that there are still others out there that haven't forgotten the Starks. Such loyalty is rare in A Song of Ice and Fire. After Jaime is rejected, he assembles a war council. Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. Assemble a war council. Sir Adam, Strongbow, Forley Presser, those river lords of ours, our friends of Frey, Sir Ryman, Lord Aemon, whoever else they care to bring. At the council, many solutions are discussed. Hanging Lord Edmure, storming the walls, infiltrating the castle with a few men to open the gates, moving siege towers closer and using archers with night soil, poisoned arrows. The strong boy wanted to challenge Sir Brynden to a duel, while Norbert Vance, the blind lord of Atranta, wanted to negotiate with him. In the end, Jaime decided to treat with the weakened and traumatized Edmure Tully. If he could not move the Blackfish, he would try to move Lord Edmure. Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. Leave Edmure to me. Sir Lyle, Sir Ilyn, attend to me if you would. It's time I paid a visit to those gallows. Sir Jaime dismissed Sir Ryman Frey and had Lord Edmure cut down from the gallows. Afterwards, Jaime laid out the terms to Lord Edmure surrendering of his castle. Jaime VI, A Feast for Crows. Jaime settled on a stool while Tully had his bath. The filth came off in gray clouds. Once you've eaten, my men will escort you to River Run. What happens after that is up to you. What do you mean? Your uncle is an old man. Valiant, yes, but the best part of his life is done. He has no bride to grieve him, no children to defend. A good death is all the Blackfish can hope for, but you have years remaining, Edmure, and you are the rightful lord of House Tully, not him. Your uncle serves at your pleasure. The fate of Riverrun is in your hands. Edmure stared. The fate of Riverrun. Yield the castle and no one dies. Your small folk may go in peace or stay to serve Lord Emmon. Sir Brynden will be allowed to take the Black, along as with many of his garrison as choose to join him. You as well, if the wall appeals to you. Or you may go to Casterly Rock as my captive and enjoy all the comforts and courtesy that befits a hostage of your rank. I'll send your wife to join you if you like. If her child is a boy, he will serve House Lannister as a page and a squire, and when he earns his knighthood, will bestow some lands upon him. Should Rosalind give you a daughter, I'll see her well dowered when she is old enough to wed. You yourself may even be granted parole once the war is done. All you need do is yield the castle. You've seen our numbers, Edmure. You've seen the ladders, the towers, the trebuchets, the rams. If I speak the command, my cuz will bring your moat and break your gate. Hundreds will die, most of them your own. Your former bannermen will make up the first wave of attackers. So you'll start the day by killing the fathers and brothers of men who died for you at the Twins. The second wave will be the Freys. I have no lack of those. My Westermen will follow when your archers are short of arrows and your knights so weary that they can hardly lift their blades. When the castle falls, all those inside will be put to the sword. Your herds will be butchered, your God's will be felled, your keeps and towers will burn. I will pull your walls down and avert the tumblestone over the ruin. By the time I'm done, no man will ever know that a castle once stood here. Jamie got to his feet. Your wife may whelp before that. You'll want you'll want your child, I expect. I'll send him to you when he is born with a trebuchet. After the threats and the physical and psychological torture, Edmure yields his castle. But though he has lost his castle, it was not a total victory for Jamie, for the Blackfish escaped. Jamie 6, A Feast for Crows. I did all that you asked of me. Oh, Jamie had not slept since Riverrun had opened its gates and his head was pounding. I do not recall asking you to let the Blackfish escape. You required me to surrender my castle, not my uncle. Am I to blame if your men let him slip through siege lines? Jamie was not amused. Where is he? He said, letting his irritation show. His men had searched Riverrun thrice over, and Brynden Tully was nowhere to be found. Jamie 6, A Feast for Crows. Where would I go if I were the Blackfish? That's a very good question. And if I were the Blackfish, I would go directly back to where I started, the Vale of Arryn. With the castle lost, winter on his heels, and no viable allies in the Riverlands, a safe and familiar haven like the Vale would seem ideal. Jamie 6, A Feast for Crows. Your uncle is an old man. Valiant, yes, but the best part of his life is done. He has no bride to grieve for him, no children to defend. What a boon it would be if he were to make an appearance in the Vale. Jamie believes that Brynden has nothing to fight for, no purpose left. But if he can manage to get back to the Vale, His great niece, the Lady Sansa Stark, and 40,000 soldiers untouched by war will be waiting for him. Thank you so very much for watching my video. If you like my video, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will be back next week with safety number 3. Enjoy your life as I do, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.